Okie dokie, we're live. And tell you what, I'll give it a minute or so for everyone to kind of catch up because, frankly, if you're watching this within seconds, that means you're a liker and a subscriber and a notifier, which is great because that's how it should be. Please do head to below and hit all the buttons as usual. I'm not one that does all that. Please like and subscribe nonsense like most channels, but if you can, that'd be great. If you won't mind. We've got one or two people who are joining us already out the gate. You are subscribers, and it's great to have you here. Welcome along. And I know that we'll probably have one or two people wanting to hang around and loiter and ready for this conversation because, quite frankly, you're not here for me. You're here for the guests. I get it. I'm riding on their coattails. I completely understand. Yeah, there you get it. And yes, on the number on the screen right now, if that doesn't give you a sudden sense of dread, then nothing will. 356 days to San Diego Comic Con 2026. We've only just got this one out of the way, for the love of... Okay, tell you what we'll do is we're going to do the opening credits and we'll dive straight into a bit of a breakdown of one hell of a week. Yes, it's the funky music, which means that all of my videos are completely demonetized. Every single time I try and get myself a piece of monetary-free music, it all goes horribly wrong and I get slapped down for it. But you know what? I don't care. I like that funky piece of music and hope you did too, because it is meaning that we are here at Talking Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name's Len Sultana, and this is the show where we talk comics, Comic Cons, and all the stuff and nonsense we get to enjoy at such shows. Well, last weekend, I was not in attendance, but it felt like it really was Comic-Con International. The news went out far and wide for San Diego Comic-Con, which just took over socials, exploded a whole bunch of fun and games online, and it really was just one hell of a show. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I know that we usually live on a Sunday, but we're kind of wrapping up this season of Talking Con, and we're going to have a little bit of a break, and we're going to come back a little bit fresh and a little bit new. We do have one more show which we're going to be doing, not this Sunday, Sunday after, which is going to be on Sunday the 10th of August. We're going to be talking to Mark London from Mad Cave Comics. Really looking forward to that, talking about what he got up to over the course of San Diego, what he's been doing with Mad Cave over the course of the last 12 months, and what he's got planned, because there's so much stuff coming down the pipe from Mad Cave. Really excited to talk to Mark London. That's 10th of August. Please do join us for that. However, last weekend, San Diego was once again invaded by hundreds of thousands, 165 by best guess estimate, 165,000 dedicated pop culture fans and just enthusiasts of all sorts of pop culture, from films, television, comics, gaming, slot machines, pinball machines, card games, Magic the Gathering. It was just a mad celebration, and it was just so much fun, if anything, to enjoy it from this side of the pond and try and filter as much as I possibly could out of all of the social media that was coming out, because there was just so much that was happening coming out of San Diego. One of the accounts which I was following the most is our guest today, which is Brad and Lisa Gullickson from the Comic Book Couples Counselling podcast. And I've just unmuted the mic, so they should be able to say hi. any second. Computer, in your own time.
Oh,
is it just muted again?
There you
go. You're
we
up and running.
unmuted ourselves.
You're there.
I think we're hitting still.
we're doing it.
I
We're
beat you to it.
here.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
we are
here, Leonard.
And we haven't had a chance to speak. We haven't had a chance to speak because you kind of joined us. I understand it. It's early morning and you jumped in. We haven't had a chance to speak, which means good. This is a proper conversation where we can just get into this and say, hello there. How the devil are you? I mean, Lisa kind of gave me a bit of a tease of how you're currently feeling 1 week out from San Diego Comic Con 2026. How are you?
Has it been a full week? I'm exhausted. We got back on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But Tuesday felt so long. It felt like Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we are recovering.
Yeah.
Taking it easy. And we literally had the best San Diego Comic-Con maybe ever for the Gullicksons. So we're stoked.
I mean, it absolutely was the best Comic-Con that we've ever had. We made a real meal out of it this year. We decided that we were actually going to drive across the United States from Virginia to California with several, side streets. We drove up to Cleveland and then to Denver. And
this is over 3,000 miles, by the way, for those of you who are not from the States.
Real.
And we went from comic shop to comic shop to comic shop. And we had already filled up a short box of comics before Comic-Con had even started. And it wasn't really until Wednesday where we went, maybe this was not the best thing for our physical health, to be already so tired.
And full of road food.
And the convention is now starting. But it
wasn't just comic book shops. That was the coolest thing. It wasn't just comic book shops. You went to headlines for you. I mean, you just went to all sorts of Charles Schultz's gravesite.
No, not Charles Schultz. So we went to because it's the summer of Superman, we were very Superman focused. So we went to Jerry Siegel's childhood home, which is still in operation. A family lives there right now. It's a neighborhood. There was a graduation party happening right across the street from where Superman was created in 1938. I guess created probably like 36. What was it? I don't know. Action Comics was published in 38. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we went to Jerry Siegel Childhood Home. We went to the site where Joe Shuster's childhood apartments were. We then drove to Metropolis, Illinois, to the Super Museum, to one of the world's largest Superman collections. And when we got to LA, we went to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery and visited with Jerry Siegel and Joanne Siegel in the columbarium where they were laid to rest. Their ashes were laid to rest.
Oh,
and then,
wow.
We went to Chester, Illinois, the birthplace of E.C. Seeger, and they have this treasure map of Popeye statues that you can track down throughout the entire town. Yeah, we just made a proper comic book.
You went all out.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, was there anything that you kind of wanted to get onto that roadmap but you weren't able to get to? Because it felt like it felt like you were filling every hour of the day.
Well, I think Charles Schultz, right? We didn't really get to go and do the Peanuts thing in California. I would have loved to have done that. Chester Gould has there's a Dick Tracy statue up around the Chicago area that we wanted to visit as well, but didn't get a chance to do that as well.
We also didn't get to visit the Jack Kirby exhibit when we got to LA because it wasn't open on
a Monday. Yeah, I was crushed because that was one of our main goals, to go to this new Jack Kirby exhibit. And then the day we had was Monday, and we had to be at San Diego for our live podcast on Tuesday, so we couldn't stretch it, and we just missed out. So,
and there were so many places, as we were driving through the Midwest in Chester, Illinois, there is an amazing Popeye knick-knack store, but because we arrived at 5:01, it was closed. Yeah. And same with there's a small town called Wamego in Kansas that has tried to make itself the representation of Wizard of Oz in Kansas, since that's where the black and white part takes place. And yeah, that museum, we arrived at 5:01 and that museum was also closed.
But we still got to walk their yellow brick road.
Yeah, they had a yellow brick road with all of these really lovely murals. So it was still, which acted kind of like gigantic comics that walked you through the story of Wizard of Oz.
It was very
so
cool. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, we'll not talk about regrets then too much. We'll dive into what you really dived into and really got positive. I mean, it was great to see you going to all of these comic book shops. And were these comic book shops that you were being recommended, or were they just on your tick list that you wanted to go and check out? Because, I mean, you went to every single scale, from the big dollar bin, huge kind of these massive kind of warehouses of books, to real mom and pop kind of stores as well. You really got to both both ends of the gamut. I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, some of them were recommended. Jason Aaron was like, you got to go to Elite Comics in Kansas. And so that was one of our missions, to go to Elite Comics. I mean, one of the reasons we did the road trip in the first place is that Lisa and I have always wanted to visit Mile High Comics in Denver. Okay. We knew that's the path we were going to take to San Diego, because we just had to get to Denver. But then, it was all about discovery as well. When we got to Vegas, we found out that Vegas is actually like an incredible comic book town. There are so many comic book shops in Las Vegas. We could not hit them all, but we hit like a half dozen of them just in that huge, sinful city. And that's where we put our hands on actual original Bob Kane art and actual original Joe Shuster art, thanks to the good folks over at Red Hood Comics. Just what an amazing town for comic book lovers.
Fantastic. And then you started making your way to San Diego. How many times to SDCC is this now? I mean, what number would this be?
I think it is 12 if you take out the lockdown years.
Yeah.
We've gone to every single one since 2011.
With the exception of the Thanksgiving one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, I mean, every single time that you've gone to San Diego Comic Con, your coverage and what you've done at the show has just got risen and sort of like exponential. It's just absolutely exploded. And I mean, it started, like you say, with that visit to Now or Never, which was, I saw the video that posted by Now or Never. I shared it as best I could, because it looked like a full room for you. It just looked like so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. Lisa and I were a little worried because Dan was doing a signing beforehand. And so the assumption was the people who bought tickets would just get their book signed and then leave and not stick around for the podcast. But actually, that was not the case. Lots of people hung out. It was standing room only. And it was a true pleasure to talk comic book shops and comic conventions with Daniel Warren Johnson. Plus, he's at this like really interesting turning point in his career, having done 2 years on Transformers. That's coming to an end. The Moon is Following Us just wrapped up. He's got this big retrospective art book that's up on Kickstarter right now. So it was fun to like find him at this moment and have this conversation with him. And he's just such a generous person.
And it was a really great conversation. And like, you get it. Like, you've hosted panels and stuff. That's like one thing. And you've done the podcast, and that's like another thing. But being able to do what we do in our living room in front of an audience and getting that like
audience in front of you, different ball game. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was just really cool and really sweet. And I can't wait until the next time we can do it. I don't know if we can land another guest as sweet as Daniel, but it was really cool.
And of course, a great venue to do it at. It is my favorite. I know there's a number of fantastic stores in San Diego, but Now or Never is just an amazing bunch of people down there. They really do. I mean, they look after you. They look after anyone who comes through the door who wants to just learn about comics, and they'll just take anyone and just guide them through this art form that we love. And I'm a huge fan of that of that store. So I
yeah,
mean, have them look after you.
That shop is the only shop in downtown San Diego, so it has a very unique perspective. Also, an incredible advantage when San Diego Comic-Con comes around. But they back up their location, right? Like they could just rest on their laurels during Comic-Con and let the address do the work for them. But Aaron and Zach and everybody at Now or Never puts all of themselves into that weekend, and it becomes like an off-site event during the convention. Like if you're not going to Now or Never during San Diego Comic-Con, you're not really doing San Diego Comic-Con properly.
No, it makes sense. I certainly, when I've seen in years gone by, and when I've been in the past, they've been a whole bunch of signings that they put on, or they've been like just, and they get some really big names. And how, I mean, at the end of the day, that people are attending San Diego Comic-Con as pros, and it's a big enough show for them to do things down by the convention center.
Yeah.
But then to take the time. I mean, if they're encouraged to take the time to go to Now or Never, I mean, that just speaks volumes about the shop itself and about the gang up there, which is just amazing. So yeah, you've got fans watching. Talking Joe is saying hi. My favorite comic book couple. Yeah, by all means, guys, any comments, any questions? I mean, we're going to be going through the con. I mean, is this your first time you've had the chance to kind of take a retro look at the con, or
Yes.
is it just been the case? Have you done anything for your own site yet?
No, this is the first conversation
okay. So
that we're having about it.
We're getting it fresh. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down with that. Excellent. Well, I mean, we'll start then with the con and the vibe itself, because, I mean, the reason why I didn't go was because of certain atmospheres in the air in America at the moment. And at the end of the day,
that's such a nice way of putting it.
I like to try and be diplomatic on this one.
Because we're slowly transforming into Mega City 1.
Well, I mean, it's when the Beat are posting articles on, well, if you are cornered by ICE, this is what you need to do to kind of keep yourself safe. And you're thinking oh, good Lord, when we're having to have PSAs on staying safe in San Diego from ICE, and
I've never seen as many armed police officers walking around in gaggles ever at San Diego Comic-Con. It was uncanny and uncomfortable, frankly.
That was my question then, because from what I've been seeing online, from the moment the con started to the moment the con ended, there didn't seem to be much conversation about it other than that Beat article. But what was the vibe in San Diego then for that?
I mean, the vibe was relatively the same as previous Comic-Cons.
It was fun. It was crowded. People were happy.
We had a great time. People were happy. There were just like little pops of weirdness.
Did you feel like a shadow that just kind of like was lingering?
Yes, but always, Leonard, like always.
Like, how's that different than any other week for us right now?
Yeah.
So yes, we would be walking the floor and we would pass like our 10th duo of cops in their Kevlar, and it was noticeable and it was frustrating and it felt less than necessary, like just totally unnecessary. But like that culture of fear is everywhere right now, so it actually didn't affect the enjoyment that we had with Comic-Con. And in some ways I feel like this year's Comic-Con felt the most Comic-Con since COVID. Like this actually almost felt like, if you squinted, if you put your beer goggles on, it felt almost like a 2019 Comic-Con or a 2018 Comic-Con, with, again, just like a few differences.
I was wondering if it was going to feel a little bit like Resistance. No, this is our fun. You're not taking this away from us. This is our fun. This is our con. You can't.
Well, art is under attack right now in this country.
Sure. And there were a number of panels there were a number of panels that actually represented that as well.
Right. But that attack only proves the importance and power of storytelling, right? So it emboldens us. It allows us to rally around something. It gives us motivation. It does feel like resistance to celebrate this medium, and also then take, you know, all the morality that this medium has instilled in us and then direct it into other public spaces. So you take the energy of Comic-Con and you bring it to your local community. Yeah.
I think also our cross-country road trip helped a lot with that feeling of resistance and comics culture. Like, it didn't. Now, I'm going to put a big asterisk in, like, we did not go south. So we only went, we drove up and then across.
I mean, we basically did like Route 66.
Yeah.
You know?
But literally every single store we stopped at had a pride flag, had, you know, shelves of minority authors and highlights and all of those trappings of resistance. And so, like, going into the con, our love tank was filled in that way a little bit.
I mean, I honestly found the road trip to San Diego to be incredibly healing because I have so much animosity towards so many people in this country. But then I discovered that there's a lot of weirdos and people like ourselves scattered throughout everywhere. You know, we were in Salina, Kansas on a Thursday morning. We were leaving our hotel and we turned the corner and we find like 30 people doing a No Kings impromptu protest.
Oh, wow.
And that was awesome to see in the middle of this country. And you know, all throughout these like red spaces were pockets of blue. And those pockets of blue were usually comic book shops.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it was one of the reasons why I didn't go. If anything, also because I think just attending or just entering the US as a tourist, it kind of almost validates the current administration.
Yeah.
So that was the reason why I didn't attend this time round.
But we're stuck here, Leonard. So we'll enjoy San Diego for you.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it really did feel like there was this oasis that took place at the con. So it's great to hear that the vibe in the city was incredibly welcoming and positive, with that shadow kind of lingering in the background. When it came to the floor and how busy it was, because I've been hearing about how the convention this year was, if not muted, then certainly there was a little less bodies on the floor or in the building. I mean, what was it for you?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the case. I didn't necessarily feel that way. I felt like I was still pretty shoulder to shoulder in the exhibit hall.
We heard from some vendors that people were a little less spendy. Like, things are, you know, wallets are a little tight right now here. Well, so people came to party and buy Labubus.
Yeah, and you know, the Hollywood presence, the Hall H experience wasn't as intense as it has been in the years past. That's all a benefit for Brad and Lisa, who are here for comic books. You know,
we're gonna get into that. We are gonna get into that. Trust me. I mean, we've got Marcy Bretts who's watching. Hello there, Marcy. The economic pressures have more impact on many Americans more than the politics. The politics were affecting the decisions for the foreigners. It's a good take on it. Attendees and companies just couldn't afford it this year. I mean, I know about well, I was going to say there are a couple of empty booths on the floor. I know Distillery had some real financial issues. And therefore they weren't able to attend their booth. But then again, that was also tied to the other empty booth, which did you swing by just to sort of
floor angels on the big gap?
This, like the diamond area, it was It was pretty funny.
It was because on preview night, they still had the tape down where the Diamond booth would have been. So it looked like a body. You know what I mean? It looked like a crime scene. Like, we got to put the tape down here because this is where the body was.
And they eventually like lifted the tape, and then they put like a line in there. They would manage lines through that big hole in the exhibit hall. Yeah, so that, you know, that was another one of those like little weird little like, okay, well, that's different.
Yeah.
Was that something that came up in conversation? Because obviously
with some people. Yeah.
Your focus is very much about the comics, and it's very much about the artists, writers, and the publishers. Was it something that was kind of mentioned as a kind of like jokey aside every once in a while? Oh, that thing happened.
Yeah, there was some Schadenfreude happening, you know, in talking about Diamond. But again, as like Fandom Ventures says here in the comments, like the exhibit floor was full every day we went.
Cool.
And, you know, Funko's gonna Funko, you know.
True. I mean, that was one thing that I was very curious to see what they would do with that corner of the building. I mean, considering that, I mean, they've lost Mondo, so it is really just them and Loungefly. I was wondering how they were going to take that space, but they take it and ran with it as per usual. Nothing new there. Aaron Neighbors is joining us. Hello there, Aaron. How are you? Devil are you, sir? There were several artists in Artist Alley that I talked to that are planning to apply for space on the exhibitor floor next year. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's now... I'm wondering if there is going to be a little bit of a turnover for people, and whether at the end of the day companies can afford to go. So you did the floor. At the end of the day, you had a full day every single day from day one straight through, from interviews, taking photos, panels. How on earth do you plan that, man? Because I mean, I tried it.
I think that's another thing when you're talking to us about Comic Con this year. Our experience is colored by the fact that Comic Book Couples Counseling has never been bigger than right now, and we had more stuff to do this year than any previous year. So
your spreadsheets must be insane.
Well, you know,
we're not spreadsheet people.
We're like fly by the seat of our pants people, really.
I wish that we had one spreadsheet individual in our marriage. We could use a third.
You're close to it, Lisa.
Yeah, like, I'm definitely the person who worries.
Yeah, like it was so funny. You know, we moderated one panel, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles New Era of Turtle Power panel, and we were guests on another panel, 2000 AD, the greatest panel in the galaxy.
Well, that's where I was going to start. I was going to start with because that was the first one you did,
right? So this is.
I was wondering, were these panels you submitted for? You were a guest for that.
We were invited.
Because you're not the only English person who did not come to the United States.
Yeah, I think if politics were different, we wouldn't have been on the 2000 AD panel.
As would be correct.
But what was great about that is, over the last year, we've become 2000 AD obsessives, and cool. 2000 AD has sponsored the podcast now, which is a tremendous honor. So then to be asked to partake in the 2000 AD panel next to, you know, Chloe and Steve and Jock was just astonishing. We were terrified, though.
I'm sure I did have a picture somewhere of that particular.
We were so scared, Leonard, that we weren't going to have our stuff. The entire road trip, the 10 days that it took us from Virginia to San Diego, every night Lisa is reading a prog. You know, she's got her nose in the magazine, and she is, you know, taking notes on Rogue Trooper. She's telling me all the backstories of all these new things going on, because I'm like a classic 2000 AD person, and Lisa's decided to become like the contemporary 2000 AD person. Between the two of us, we could talk 2000 AD enough not to embarrass ourselves in front of Jock.
You don't want to look like a jerk in front of
Jock. To be honest,
and yet
I think it's a really cool. I think it's a really cool perspective for you to have been on that, because I mean, you can do a 2000 AD panel where it is Brits and it is sort of everyone sort of like traveling to the US and doing a talk about 2000 AD. Then it becomes a little kind of like this pocket of Brits taking over a room and talking about their favorite thing. But 2000 AD and I think Rebellion have made such a stride to bring 2000 AD to the American market and allow people to get what we've been getting for all of these decades. So I think to have two Americans who are experiencing it for the first time, and I think that's I think that's really clever. Like I say, I didn't know if you had organized it or submitted for it or the way you were a guest. The fact that you're a guest is just, I think that's incredibly cool on Rebellion's part. I think that's very clever.
I think Steve Morris was the one who was responsible for organizing that. And
we owe him a lot.
And we owe him a lot. And I was particularly stoked to be the noob on the panel. And I feel like I shared a lot, but I also learned a lot, which is really cool.
Talking Joe asks if the panel's available anywhere, and we did not record it. We should have.
It was an ice castle.
But we didn't record it. My favorite moment of the entire panel, though, was Steve asking everybody, like, how did you come into 2000 AD? And I had to admit, again, with Jock sitting next to me, that my entryway into 2000 AD was the 1995 Sylvester Stallone movie, which I still kind of adore. And then Jock was like, okay, well, cheers, I'm leaving.
You got a round of applause for it, man. You had friends in the room.
Yeah, because I'm in America with a bunch of Stallone heads.
Brilliant stuff. I mean, there are so many panels which related to Brit stuff, international comics, which I think really they went out of their way. Number one, I mean, you know, the whole argument, the comics are being shoved out of San Diego Comic Con, which is nonsense. The percentage of comic panels this year was just phenomenal, but also the amount of international comic panels, which I thought was really encouraging on CCI's programming part. And to have this 2000 AD panel was really cool. But then, of course, you may be coming from 2000 AD from a slightly more newer reader perspective. Guys, you know your turtles. Safe to say, you know your turtles. And
we know our turtles.
Be invited onto a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle panel with Kevin Eastman and with this new generation of creators coming onto the book. You must have been stoked. You must have been.
Yeah, Leonard, it was the best. To be on the stage, sharing that stage with Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz and Ben Bishop and Caleb Goldner. And this is my opportunity to once again tell people to read Caleb Goldner and Nick Dragata's The Ghost Cage from Image Comics. That's an incredible book that not enough people read. To also have Jean Lewin Yang on there. I mean, Jean Lewin Yang has made some of the best comics of this century with An American-Born Chinese and Dragon Hoops.
And Lunar New Year Love Story.
Which just took the Eisner, took multiple
3
Eisners.
I think.
Yeah. Like that was, again, another honor to be there. What's so fun about the Ninja Turtles panel is they have a mission, because they announced so much during San Diego Comic-Con. They were having press releases from The Hollywood Reporter and IGN and all, they were coming from everywhere, and we had to help the panelists get this information out to the room. And they had 27 slides and we had 45 minutes, so that's like basically 2 minutes a slide. And the night before, Lisa and I got 2 giant margaritas. We went back to the Amigo spot on Hotel Circle.
If you want a slutty margarita, the Amigo spot.
The margaritas are the size of your head.
They're so good.
So we got
these, and how bad they are.
We got these monstrous margaritas. We sucked those down, and then we went back to our hotel room and we wrote a script for all 27 slides. And we came up with at least 2 questions for each panelist. And then on the day, it's go time, and 10 panels in, and we were way ahead of schedule. And so we're like, we're rushing through this. So now we have to slow down and we have to throw in some extra questions. But then we threw in too many extra questions.
And then they're all loosened up, so they start asking each other questions, and we certainly did not have time for that.
You then have the person who's managing the panel for Comic Con in the back, and they're holding up a sign, 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. And they held up the stop sign, and we hadn't even gotten to the Godzilla news yet. Godzilla, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover event. And Lisa's like, they're telling us to stop.
And I respect authority. When I see a sign that says stop, I have to go like, I'm so sorry, Kevin Eastman. We have to get off of this stage, my friend.
And this woman is like punching the stop sign from the back of the room at us.
And Brad's asking follow-up questions, and I'm sweating bullets.
I'm like, we're not stopping. Because I don't care if we run a little over, but I do care if we don't satisfy IDW. And the truth is, we took about 55 minutes, and we did turn over the room on time. So I don't feel like we actually
didn't get in trouble, which is my greatest fear.
And I went up to the panel room manager afterwards, and I said, "Hey, sorry to stress you out." And she's like, whatever. I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, good." So the only people who were sweating bullets were these two.
As somebody who's volunteer staffed a room, they're a pretty chill crew.
I'm sure they've seen it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thing about San Diego Comic Con and the organizers. It's very much that West Coast vibe. It's like, okay, yes, we have some rules and we've got things we've got to follow, but it's San Diego, man. Just chill out. We're all good. We're all good.
I'm really proud of this photo also, because when we were at New York Comic Con and we moderated the Ninja Turtles panel, we didn't get anything like this.
Yeah.
And so this time I was like, hey, before the panel even starts, I need you all to stand up. Kevin, get out of your chair. I need you all to line up and take a photo with us. We need evidence.
But can you see like the pre-panel stress on my face? I am as tight as a drum in that photo.
You don't look stressed at all, to be fair. You look jazzed.
Okay,
You look just so jazzed to be there.
Yeah, it was wonderful, because after this panel, we then went over to the Hilton with Gene, and we had a great conversation about his upcoming run that's going to follow Jason Aaron and Juan Ferreira with Freddie Williams II. And that episode, plug, should be out next week.
Yeah.
That should be interesting. That should be cool. I mean, heaven knows, Gene also had a hell of a weekend. We'll get into that in a second. I mean, when it comes to the panels then, I mean, those were the two that you participated in. I mean, did you get the chance to go to any other panels? What were the highlights for you of any of the sessions that you got to see?
We went to a few other panels. My favorite panel was the DC All-In panel, the KO panel. Lisa and I have just been, reveling in everything going on with DC Comics right now. Obviously the Absolute books, but just the general, the whole publishing line, we've been really enthusiastic for. And I feel like they rolled out the red carpet with that panel, and all the panelists were just so jazzed by the energy in the room and the response that their books have been getting online and in comic book shops. I just think like everyone was just so happy to be there. Those on stage and those in the crowd. It was electric.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to put... I'll let you have a think about it, okay? And then we'll come back to it. But the question is, your top 3 comic book interaction, or your comic people interactions. And I'll let you choose 3 each. But tell you what, have that lingering in the back of your head.
All right.
Okay. As I guarantee at least 1 or 2 of the interactions took place at the event, which I would have absolutely have been. I mean, I've turned around and said, if there were things I wanted to attend if I was going to San Diego Comic Con, the Tiny Chef panel, for one, any Tom King panel, frankly, because the man is just I love that man to death, and the Eisners. You would have torn me away from being in that room, and the fact that you were able to be there. I mean, I was following 3 accounts. The Beat was one. There was Comics Crush, I believe, was the other. How the hell you got a signal out of that black box of a room, which is the ballroom at the Indigo? I've no idea, but you brought the Eisners to us. It was just fantastic to see, and thank you so much for that.
Our
Very
pleasure. You know, it helps having two people man one account, right? Like,
Sure.
like that's like the secret ingredient of Comic Book Couples Counseling. And Lisa and I love the Eisners, and we've only been attending the Eisners for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? It was something that we never like made time for because we used to be so stuck in Hall H. But the moment we like broke away from like trying to find a wristband for the Saturday Hall H panels,
Yeah.
and we attended the Eisners, we discovered how much we find the Eisners to be a rejuvenating space. And I think you talk to some people, you talk to a lot of people, and they complain about like how long it is or how boring it is. And I'll give you that it's long, but I don't find it boring. I find it incredibly emotional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just love to be filled in a room full of gratitude for comics, and you really do feel the community happening, especially when people are giving speeches and thanking each other. I just think it's so awesome and beautiful.
And Jackie Estrada has put so much of herself into that event, and you know, this has been her life's work in many ways, and we have all benefited as a result. And getting to be there when she finally announced like she was going to be stepping back a little bit, I was glad to be there for that moment so that we could then participate in this massive standing ovation, this entire ballroom getting to its feet and just projecting all its love to Jackie Estrada. She deserves that and a whole lot more.
Incredible. Your favorite moments from that event that night then? I mean, certainly there were a couple where I was reading through and they were kind of the winners were being announced, and there were a couple where remember it was 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning here in the UK. And I was doing my best not to wake the other half up. But when I mean, just a number of the categories, I mean, there were a couple I was slightly blown away by, just that they were being picked over what I would have thought were kind of deadlocks. That there were some real celebration of indie comics and international comics as well.
The Santos sisters winning was like, whoa.
That was the definition of an upset, especially in that category.
Yeah, but like a great upset too. And I love seeing people be recognized and them having no understanding of that being a possibility. So it was a wonderful acceptance speech. I've not read that book. I know nothing about it, but I think Lisa and I are going to have to check it out at some point now.
But it's almost like those Oscar wins where a film that just comes out of nowhere that wins a number of awards, and you just go, oh, well, I just have to check that out then. So yeah, that was very cool to have. Great to see. I mean, okay, number one, it's great to see Ram V winning anything, but then having Dan Waters up there, because I've known Dan for a while, and just him on a stage in front of people, a real rabbit in the headlight look. I can imagine there was this kind of real sense of, okay, I'll take the award, but I'm not too sure I want to be up here.
Yeah, we saw him roaming around afterwards and got to say, you know, a congratulations to him. And he just looked like in a daze. He was so happy.
Incredible. I mean, it's also, I've also been kind of, I've been putting out the Eisner winners as well. So, I mean, great to have Batman Year One get repped, and there was just some real moments, and also the fact that the Beat won. I can imagine
that was the win of the night for Lisa and myself. It was so funny because I think the day before we published our episode with Chip Zdarsky, which was him just talking about Zdarsky Comic News and the Eisner nomination that book got, and how he rejects that nomination, and how he knew that the Beat was going to win. And we were like, I don't know, Chip, you could steal it from Heidi. And he goes, that would be, you know, a true crime. And then as we were walking to the Eisners in the Gaslamp district, we ran into Heidi, and we're like, Heidi, you're going to win this. We're going to see you walk across the stage and accept your Eisner. And she's like, do not jinx us. Chip's going to win. And that's just the way it's going to be. And I was like, I don't know. But then as we were building to that moment, Lisa and I did start to think, is Chip going to take the Eisner for Zdarsky Comic News? And we love what Chip is doing with Zdarsky Comic News. We've got an issue right here. And we think what he's doing actually...
It's so fun, and it's valuable commentary.
Yeah.
It's really, particularly when he gets kind of sarcastic and insidery, I feel like I learn a lot.
But the beat is the beat. And it's, you know...
Heidi deserves her flowers.
Yeah.
That's just the case.
And so it was wonderful to see her on that stage. And then to also talk to, like, you know, everybody on the ground from the beat who was there already. Like, the beat had an army out covering all these panels at San Diego Comic-Con, and each person at the beat takes a lot of pride in that win, as they should. And so I'm just really happy for the entire beat team that they got this recognition.
Well, I mean, clearly you are the golden kiss. Then you didn't jinx them. You blessed Heidi going forward.
Right. We blessed people.
In which case,
we also voted for them, so we did help.
Well, this is where then I will either be the jinx or the golden kiss. You'll have to work out which one this is going to be. When I say within the next Eisners, or hang on a second, a bit of a spinning wheel. Come back to me. Come back.
We're back. We're back.
What's going on?
Yeah, you're frozen on our side. There you are.
We're good. Good.
We're good.
Oh
no! I can see you just fine.
Oh, what's going on? Have I got any signal at all? Wait. Oh no!
It's because of this jinx. You just jinxed us.
Hang on a second. What's going on?
And now it's us. We're taking over Talkin Con. I think Leonard was going to say something ridiculous.
I thought we were going to talk more about tea. Yeah. I actually didn't drink any tea at the con. Did you drink any tea at the con?
No, I had a lot of coffee though.
A lot of coffee, which is like the tea of
America.
Of America.
Because we stole it from another country.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do like tea.
I love tea.
I'll have a matcha. I'll have an English breakfast.
English breakfast all the way.
You like a London fog. That's like
I do like a London fog. This is how we vamp at panels when guests don't arrive. And it's just Brad and Lisa on a stage, and everyone in the audience doesn't want to see us. They want to see somebody else. Oh, Leonard's coming back, and then he's gone again. But I'm just going to keep talking about the Eisners and why everyone should attend the Eisners. Because...
Come on.
Oh, they're going to have... That's going to be a ...
Why is my internet acting up like it is doing? Are we back?
Because it's not Sunday. That's why.
Are we back?
We got that Friday
we
traffic.
Got your back. I want to know if everything that Lisa and I just said was broadcast into the space.
From all accounts, your contribution was gold, and I just went completely into the ether.
Oh no.
What I was about to say,
I know. That's why the internet kicked you out.
For what you were about to say.
Hello. Yeah. What I was about to say was, I don't want to jinx you, but I think you're going to be on the Eisner stage, either presenting or accepting next year or within the next couple of years.
That's crazy.
That's crazy talk.
That's my prediction.
One, I don't think there's a category that covers what Lisa and I do. I think they have zero interest in podcasts, and that's fine. It's not actually, but I would love to see podcasts recognized.
Comics
but to put on a pretty dress
related publication, it counts.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I can't even.
I think.
I can't think about that.
I think the pair of you could put on a pretty dress and present. I think you could both do a really good job of it.
Yeah, I own a sport coat.
So there you go.
It's right over there.
Okay.
He brings it on every trip we go on. Whether he puts it on or not is a gamble, but he does have one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And to wrap up the Eisners, I mean, I wanted to bring it back to Gene as well, because had one hell of a night. Just had one hell of a night. And like you say, the fact that you got to have the panel with Gene as well, you had the conversation. I mean, you really did manage to land some quality time with someone who had a hell of a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Gene's a great person, and I loved that even though Lu Yen Pham wasn't in attendance, he made sure that they got their flowers on that stage. He took a lot of his time to reiterate to the audience what an incredible talent Lu Yen Pham is and the brilliant work that they do on that book. And I would encourage everyone watching to go to your local shop, just pick up that book and flip through it. It's called Lunar New Year Love Story. You might think you know what that is, but you don't. Like, I could see Guillermo del Toro directing the hell out of this comics adaptation. So this book's got some surprises in it.
It's amazing.
That, yeah, you're going to want to put your eyes on.
Do you want to hear an awkward story, though?
Yeah, we'll check that out.
I have a terrible sense of chronology and names.
Oh, God.
So as we were, I had voted on the Eisners. I had read so many of those books, and I put a lot of work into getting ready to be a really sound voter. But the second I put that ballot in, everything leaves my mind. So we were doing a little bit of BarCon the right before the Eisners, and Gene just so happened to be there. And so I was like, okay, small talk. Let's do this. I was like, so Gene.
And we had just interviewed him earlier in the day.
Yeah, so he was happy to see us. And I was like, Gene, are you going to the Eisners tonight? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, were you nominated for anything? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, was it Lunar New Year Love Story? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I voted for you. So I took whatever potential friendship that we had, and I don't know if I big timed or small timed him, but it was very awkward, especially in retrospect.
It was funny. He laughed.
He did laugh as he slowly backed away to mingle elsewhere.
Well, that kind of like leads me back round to that question I left you with. Then just something percolating in the back of your head. Then your top 3 comic peeps.
Yeah, that was one of them for Lisa for sure.
Interaction. Is that one for you?
I'll count that as one of mine. Do you want to do one?
Yeah. I think I have to also go with another interview. We were atop the DC booth, and we got to chat with Matt Fraction about Batman. And Leonard's disappeared again.
I think what I might have to do, bear with me a second.
We're bearing with you.
And I come at this, is I might have to move to my phone.
Sure.
It's fine. It is the superior technology.
It's just giving me so much grief.
Sure. Should we hold down the fort while you go?
Or
should the whole show stop?
Man, okay. Bear with me. Oh, hang on. Right, I'm going to try again. There.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
This is not fun. This is
I'm
not fun.
sorry.
When
We've done that
technology
before.
decides to fight me.
Yeah. No, it's the absolute worst.
Yeah, no worries.
You want to see me in a total rage? Ask me for a password. That is when I am most capable of foul play.
It's true.
It's true. I will go into a full eruption of just anger and thrashing
And murder.
Well, I'm keeping my phone to hand.
Okay.
Because it may be a case of I'm just going to go with a phone. Let's see what happens if I can do this. If I can.
Oh. Ah!
A second Leonard!
Cloning.
Right.
Get Leonard!
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And now you're to my left.
I know.
And now you're to my left.
I know.
And now you're...
This is ridiculous. Anyway, I can see you now. And we could talk like this. You are now currently propped on the top of my stand of Lego minifigs. So you're currently on the top of an Ewok. Congratulations.
That's so fun.
So there you go. I mean, if anything, you can take that as a bit of an honor. And Lisa, you are nestled right beside Leia. So there we go.
Two princesses.
Excellent. Right. So before everything completely falls apart with the internet, we'll kind of talk about, we were talking about your top 3 comic peeps interactions. You got that one from June, from Lisa. Brad, for yourself, I mean, pick a couple out of the weekend that really shone out for you.
We had a wonderful conversation with Matt Fraction atop the DC booth. That's going to be another episode. Obviously, he is coming on as the writer for Batman, along with Jorge Jimenez on art. And we've never talked to Matt Fraction before. We've wanted to have Matt on the podcast for a long time. And to get to finally talk to him at Comic Con, that gives it a extra bit of energy. The DC booth is like one of the best booths to do an interview in, because you sit atop the booth and there's a couch up there.
There were dogs this time.
There were dogs when we got up there. We got to pet some dogs. And Matt saw us. He was like, "Oh, Comic Book Couples Counselling. Let me get on the couch." And then he just like sprawled out on the couch, and we took some like photo ops of us actually counseling Matt. And like, those are some of my favorite photos from the con now. I was like, okay, these are going on the internet forever. So that was a great interaction. Like, my favorite interactions are the ones that you do in passing. You're going to one panel and another person's going to another panel, and it's Tom King, and you stop for a few moments. We saw Daniel Warren Johnson later in the con, and we hid behind a pillar near some trash just to talk comics and everything else that we got going on. Like, the one thing I would want to talk about before we wrap this up is, like, maybe the biggest thing that happened to us at Comic-Con was the publication of This Ink Runs Cold, short stories from the Space Crime Continuum, which is an anthology all illustrated by Scott Morse, the cartoonist behind Soulwind and Plastic Man with Kyle Baker. And that is an anthology of 98 one-page stories written by people like Michael Allred and Brian Michael Bendis, Dave McKean, John J. Muth, and Brad and Lisa Gullickson. So this is the first comic. It's a one-page comic that Lisa and I have written that has seen publication. And to be a part of this book is a dream come true. There we are.
Doing a signing.
Doing our first signing ever.
Comic-Con.
And so, like, that interaction was the best interaction, where you're like in a factory line with other writers, with Scott Morse, just signing dozens upon dozens upon dozens of this book.
We got to sign Scott's twice because we were the first to visit his booth on preview night.
And he lost it.
And we signed his book, and then he lost his copy. So we got to punch up what we did the first time.
Yeah, so somebody has that copy.
Our very personal note to Scott in their copy, and I hope that they love it.
Well, I mean, the fact that you got to take part in this, and it's one of those old stories, and it's like the old high fidelity thing where you are professional appreciators of something, but then you're able to give back to the community, and you're able to put something of your own creativity out into the world, and like you say, to then go to San Diego Comic Con to sign copies of it. I mean, that is mind blowing.
It's a dream come true. We call it piercing the veil. We have entered the magic.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, we don't know when it's going to happen again, but we hope that it is sooner rather than later. We have big dreams.
You say that 2025 was a pinnacle year for you. I think you've got so much more to come, and I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I know we're wrapping things up, and I know we're at the hour mark, and we will wrap things up. I mean, we'll just say that you can't see everything, and I mean, certainly there were people that I missed from Comic-Con this year. Certainly that family that I've made out there, which I just miss desperately. For yourself, I mean, can you name names of the people that you totally failed to meet up with this year?
Oh,
I mean, there's lots. There's always a lot of people. It's funny, Bilkis Evely and Matthias Lopes, the artists, the artists behind Helen of Windhorn and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. She's coming into San Diego from Brazil. It's a big deal that she was there. We were dying to meet both of them, and we just couldn't make it happen. They were so busy all weekend, but we did get a copy of our Helen of Windhorn into somebody's hands who was able to then get it to them, plus Tom, to get that signed. So we were grateful that we were able to get like our personal copy personalized from them, but we never actually got to have a conversation, and I'm a little crushed about that.
We were spoiled with the Danbury encounters, and we appreciate that very much. The same thing happened with Scott Snyder and Nick Dragata. We always want to say hi to those guys, and we did not cross paths.
Yeah. And then, there's tons of friends who are at Comic-Con, and you're talking to them through various messaging apps, and they're there, but you never see them.
Yeah.
Like Chris Condon was there. I never saw that guy.
Yeah.
So we'll let you get off and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll just kind of wrap up with 2025. If you can pick up, say a couple of words which really sum up the convention for you this time around. Is there any words that instantly come to mind about? I mean, exhausting, I can imagine, is one.
Sure, but also rejuvenating. I think that's another word that we've been saying a lot around the house this past week. I think resistance is a great word. We talked about it earlier on in this conversation. It is a weird time to be an American. It's probably always a weird time to be American, but it's even more so, at least along our timeline, the timeline that we have lived. And it can be, paralyzing at times to think about where we are, but thankfully we have these gatherings where we can interact with our community and plan and strategize and be rejuvenated by. Comic-Con did for me what I needed it to do. Good stuff.
I'm going to give 3 words, and they just coincidentally is the title of a fictional band's TV show. This is so random, but the 3 words that came to mind were Big Time Rush. It was so fun. As a Monkeys girl, I do love my fictional bands, and this Comic Con was so fun. It like as hard as we tried to stretch it out with the road trip and preview night and hanging out an extra day in San Diego Comic Con, it went by so fast.
I was like, how is Lisa going to make Sex Bomb work?
I was wondering which one was going to get chosen.
It was monkeys, you guys. It was monkeys.
And of course, we want to come to Europe, Talking Joe, and we would love to do Thought Bubble at some point.
Someday. That's on the vision
We're
board.
so poor now, though, having done
we
this
spend
trip.
all of our money. That's the thing with being freelancers is if I'm not working, I'm not making any money. No money is coming in. So
did we overdraft multiple times?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Well,
we moved money around.
Thought Bubble is technically my local con. I'm about 40 minutes away. If you need a bed, you're more than welcome to stay with us. I'd be more than happy to have you.
So generous.
For 2026, are you planning already? Are you already starting to put stuff in place?
We're definitely coming back for San Diego Comic-Con 2026. We're not going to do the road trip. That was a once in a lifetime event, I think, unless somebody pays for it. You know?
Currently, we're looking for sponsors as always.
Always more sponsors.
Always. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what you get up to in the next 12 months. I feel I'm going to see you up on an Eisner stage.
We can all dream.
Don't knock it until it happens. And I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing more coming out of Comic Book Couples Counselling. Looking forward to seeing more in the stacks. That is one of the coolest things you're doing at the moment. That's brilliant.
Thank you for mentioning that, Leonard. Yeah, that's on our YouTube channel, Comic Book Couples Counselling. It's called The Stacks. We so far have filmed every episode at Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland. We like to think of it as our answer to the Criterion Closet, but with comics. Season 1 is about to wrap up. We have 2 episodes left. One of those episodes is with Brad and Lisa. It is the longest episode that we have recorded, and we have to edit it severely. I think we recorded like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
that's
really
obscene.
Self-indulgent.
And then our finale of the Stacks is going to be Chris Condon. And he does an amazing job picking out some of his favorite books. But we've had people like Sanford Green this week talk about Jack Kirby. We've had Philip Kennedy Johnson talk about Hellboy. We've had Steve Anderson, the co-owner of Third Eye Comics, go all in with Preacher and Faust. Who doesn't want to hear somebody like romanticize Faust for all you Tim Vigil heads out there? We launched the show with David Brothers and Chip Zdarsky, the creative duo behind Time Waits. And what was episode 2? Episode 2 was, Benjamin Percy, the writer of Spider-Man versus Predator, or Predator versus Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Best basso profundo in comics.
Yeah, and
his speaking voice is rumbly and delicious.
He picks his 5 favorite horror comics of all time. It's a great listen, a great watch. So go hit that subscribe button, hit that that little bell, all
Smash
those YouTube
that
things.
like button.
all the things I don't say and do. You go ahead. You absolutely go and say and do that for yourself.
We're
absolutely.
Noobs.
Well, I mean, I've put it up on the screen, and this is the blue sky. I am doing my best to drag people kicking and screaming away from the hell site, which is Twitter. And I will continue to call it Twitter for as long as he keeps. I'll dead name his site, and as long as he keeps dead naming his daughter. Yes, do go and check out Comic Book Couples Counselling on Blue Sky. They're on Threads as well. Check out their Instagram for all of the stuff they got up to over the course of the last week, because my God, they filled it to the brim, and they had their best Comic-Con. It was so inspiring to see. Brad, Lisa, thank you so much indeed. Number 1, for putting up with my technical shenanigans.
No worries.
And number 2, thank you so much indeed for coming on and sharing your take on San Diego Comic-Con 2025. It's been an absolute pleasure. Anything else that you'd like to say to everyone? Anything else that you'd like to point people towards?
Just to you, Leonard. Thank you for having us on. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Yes.
Well, like I say, what I'm now going to do is going to take a pint of cider. It's traditional around here that if there's any technical issues, it's usually me spilling fluids over my laptop or something. I'm going to take a pint of cider and drown this bloody thing. So I'm now going to go off. Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to say thank you so much indeed for you for coming on. And yeah, on stage at the Eisners. That's on the. Look, I'm saying it one more time. There you go. That's what's going to happen. Okay.
That would be wild.
It wouldn't it just? Wouldn't it just? Brad, Lisa, thank you so much indeed. Take care and look after yourselves. Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff indeed. Oh man, we got there eventually. But there we go. Brad, Lisa, Comic Book Couples Counselling. Check out their podcast. Check out their socials because they really, like I say, they just filled their Comic-Con to the brim. And it was a pleasure to kind of enjoy Comic-Con via their experience, which was just remarkable. So there we go. Thank you so much indeed for watching today. Once again, we are taking a little bit of a break with the podcast while I wire some actual internet cables upstairs into my house so we have a more solid setup. But we're going to be returning with Talking Con properly on Sunday, the 21st of September. It's the week prior to either Lakes International Comic Art Festival or Comic-Con Malaga, depending on whether Comic-Con Malaga is handing out press passes. But let's see how the organization is when it comes to an international iteration of San Diego Comic-Con. We'll find out what's happening with that. But also, we are going to be doing the last show of this particular run of Talking Con, which is going to be taking place on the 10th of August. It's Sunday, and we are going to be talking to Mark London from Mad Cave Comics. That's going to be a fun show, talking about what they've been getting up to for the last 12 months, and also what they've got coming down the pipe. Really excited about their Speed Racer book, which they've got coming. So that I'm really looking forward to indeed. But thank you so much indeed for watching this little iteration of Talking Con. Thank you very much indeed to Brad and Lisa for joining us. We're back again, like I say, 10th of August for our chat with Mad Cave Comics. And yeah, keep an eye on any random broadcast that I happen to do by hitting subscribe, going down below, hit the bell, you know the drill. And yeah, we'll do what we can with doing some more videos. From Talking Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. From me to you, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.